The Equal Remuneration Act 1976 provides for payment of equal remuneration to men and women workers for the same work or work of similar nature without any discrimination, and also prevents discrimination against women employees while making recruitment for the same work or work of similar nature or in any condition of service subsequent to recruitment. The provisions of the Act have been extended to all categories of employment, and the Act extends to the whole of India. Definitions. Appropriate government means in relation to any employment carried on by or under the authority of the central government or a railway administration, or in relation to a banking company, a mine, oil field, or major port, or any corporation established by or under a central act, the central government, and in relation to any other employment, the state government. Man and woman means male and female human beings respectively of any age. A remuneration means the basic wage or salary and any additional emoluments whatsoever payable either in cash or in kind to a person employed in respect of employment or work done in such employment if the terms of contract of employment expressed or implied were fulfilled. Same work or work of similar nature. Similar nature means work in respect of which the skills, effort, and responsibility required are the same when performed under similar working conditions by a man or a woman, and the differences, if any, between the skill, effort, and responsibility required of a man and those required of a woman are not of practical importance in relation to the terms and conditions of the employment. Act to have an overriding effect. Section 3 of the Act provides that the provisions of the Act shall have effect notwithstanding anything inconsistent therewith contained in any other law or in the terms of any award, agreement, or contract of service, whether made before or after the commencement of the Act, or any instrument having effect under any law for the time being in force. Duty of employer to pay equal remuneration to men and women workers for the same work or work of similar nature. Section 4 of the Act provides that no employer shall pay to any worker employed by him in an establishment or employment remuneration, whether payable in cash or in kind, at rates less favorable than those at which remuneration is paid by him to the workers of the opposite sex in such establishment or employment for performing the same work or work of similar nature, and employer shall not reduce the rate of remuneration of any worker. It may it may be noted that as per section 2 subsection G, remuneration means the basic wages or salary or and any additional emoluments whatsoever payable either in cash or in kind to a person employed in respect of employment or work done in such employment, if the terms of the contract of employment expressed or implied were fulfilled. And section 2 subsection H defines same work or work of similar nature means work in respect of which the skill, effort, and responsibility required are the same when performed under similar working conditions by a man or woman, and the differences, if any, between the skill, effort, and responsibility required of a man and those required of a woman are not of practical importance in relation to the terms and conditions of the employment. Discrimination not to be made while recruiting men and women. As per section 5, employer while making recruitment for the same work or work of similar nature or in any condition of service subsequent to recruitment, such as promotions, training, or transfer, shall not make any discrimination against women except where the employment of women in such work is prohibited or restricted by or under any law for the time being in force. However, above mentioned section shall not affect any priority or reservation for scheduled caste or scheduled tribes, ex-servicemen, retrenched employees, and other class or category of persons in the matter of recruitment to the post in an establishment or employment. Authorities for hearing and deciding claims and complaints. Section 7 of the Act empower the appropriate government appoint such officers not below the rank of labor officer as it thinks fit to be the authorities for the purpose of hearing and deciding complaints with regard to the contravention of any provision of the Act, claims arising out of non payment of wages at equal rates to men and women workers for the same work or work of similar nature, and define the local limits within which each such authority shall exercise its jurisdiction. Maintenance of registers. As per Section 8, it is the duty of every employee to maintain registers and other documents in relation to workers employed by him in the prescribed manner. Penalty. If any employer makes any recruitment in contravention of the provisions of this Act, or makes any payment or remuneration at unequal rates to men and women workers for the same work or work of similar nature, or makes any discrimination between men and women workers in contravention of the provisions of this Act, or omits or fails to carry out any direction made by the appropriate government, then he or she shall be punishable with the fine or imprisonment or both up to 6 months.